Oh my goodness. Hello. Every time I see your name pop up on the screen, I want to break into that song.
Please
But
don't.
I'm gonna save you the pain and suffering of me doing that very thing.
I have a feeling you do it a million times better than those that choose to do it.
I don't know. I karaoke with malice of forethought, right? Like I'm gonna put on a show. I'm gonna yell it out at the top of my lungs. I am so bad at singing. I feel I could distract with the routine that I do instead. So I always pick songs that are like aggressively loud. Like my favorite karaoke song is Anything Anything by Dramarama.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah. And if I had enough room, I would fling myself to the floor and writhe around. If there's enough room for me to do it, that's what I'm going to do.
Again, I am not surprised.
I have gotten standing ovations in some of my karaoke routines.
Yeah, again, not surprised.
Yeah.
Not surprised at all.
But it's got nothing to do with the voice because that is hideous, just so you know.
But that's the point of karaoke. It should be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I will tell you, up until I was probably, I'm going to say 45 easily. There's no way in hell I would get up in karaoke, right? Wouldn't do it. Nope, not doing it. And then one day I was just like, fuck it all, right? Fuck it all. Oh my God, Dramarama is on the list. It was probably the first song I ever really karaoke to. And I'm just like, nope, I'm going all in.
I love that so much. I just love that. And if you do, it's like if you're gonna do it, go all in. Like
Go
don't do
all in.
like
Yeah.
just go all in.
Yep.
Don't yeah. It is, I will say, and I'm sure Vegas has some amazing karaoke, but like here in the West Village, because you get people who are like Broadway or
Yeah.
legit singers getting up there, and it's like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah.
they blow it out. Like I'm not getting up there.
Yeah. Well, now I will, but I have also often done Helen Reddy's I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar.
Ooh.
Or my other favorite is Delta Dawn. Right. So I'll go to that extreme, or yeah, I'll do Drama Rock. As a matter of fact, I do have a list of karaoke songs on my phone, right next to the list of topics for shower talks, right? No,
That's hilarious.
Different notebook so that I can thumb through. And then sometimes I will do Borderline by Madonna, so I can do that skip thing that she did, right? With her arms and the skipping. Yeah. The routine is really what's important, right?
Yeah, it is.
There has to be some sort of thing I can do to ham it up. So I can do that with Helen Reddy because it's so nerdy and nobody likes it, right? Or I can do it with Dramarama. Yeah. So there, maybe one day we'll go karaoke together.
Oh my God, that would be the absolute best.
And you will get to now, I never do the same routine twice. Like it's not a thought out routine, right? It's just because it depends on how much space you have, right? If you only have a little tiny bit of space, then you're flailing your arms more, right? So, and I like when I can do the microphone on the stand and you can do the little rock and roll dip. I do that a lot. Yeah. It's just
You know what? Whatever makes you happy, babes. And that clearly brings joy to your life. So
it does, because then I see happiness in other people as well, because then they're always like, well, at least we're not going to be as bad as her, right? Like there's that level where you're like, oh, I can just let my guard down a little because she's willing to do that. At least I can just be myself, right?
yeah, and you know what? I actually think, I guarantee there are people that are there who are like, I wish I had the gall. Like I wish I had the ability to let myself go.
Yeah.
And just be and enjoy.
Because you know what? For many years, that's who I was, right? Like I wouldn't karaoke. I wouldn't step outside of the lines. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, and what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah, nothing. It's just, I think that it's more so people are nervous about being judged.
Yeah.
Because if you judge, you're just going to assume other people judge.
Yeah. And we all do.
Well, right. But the crazy part is too, like when you do see people doing karaoke or just being free, most people are like, that's fucking awesome. Like it's so rare that someone's like, oh, bad. I think the only time people are judgmental in those situations are when the person thinks they're really good and taking it really seriously and like, having fun with it. And then it's like,
you know, I think there is at least probably one person in the crowd that's like, oh, that girl. And you know what?
Fuck them, who cares?
That's just it. So that I look at it like this, and this is how I look at almost all things in life now. Not that I looked at it like this before, but I do now. And that is, yeah, someone's going to blame me. Someone's going to think I'm bad. Someone's going to think I'm wrong. There's always going to be that person. So no matter what I do, if I sat quietly at my table watching other people karaoke, someone there is going to notice me and go, look at that girl sitting alone. What a loser. So no matter what I do, someone's going to judge me. So why am I living my life for them?
That's right. 100%.
Yes, someone's going to think I'm wrong. Someone's going to think I'm fat and I'm ugly and I'm this and there's always going to be that person out there. So fuck them, because I'm happy getting up and karaoke the way I want to karaoke. So I don't care that one person might think I'm weird, because oh well, right? So I mean, and that's true of anything. Like I know someone, you know this person too, well, I'll tell you later, who doesn't want to break up with their significant other because they don't want it to be their fault. And I'm like, yeah, no matter what you do, it's your fault. Accept it. It's your fault.
Oof.
What are you going to do about it? I mean,
you're worried about being judged by people?
No, I think they're just worried about being judged by their significant other.
Oh, what a horrible place to be in.
Yep. So, but it is your fault. So what? Because one person is going to think it's your fault. The rest of the world may not think that. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, the rest of the world probably doesn't care, right?
Right.
It's very hard for us. I've noticed this like on a day-to-day basis. It's hard for us to actually care about the other person.
Oh my God. I was listening to a podcast yesterday and it was talking about how empathy numbers have decreased when they look at people who care about, narcissism was on the rise.
Yeah.
And empathy was on the decline. And or no, maybe it was an article it was an article, it wasn't a podcast. And the woman was basically saying like, this is a disaster. It was in the New Yorker or the Atlantic. I'm sorry. It was an article in the Atlantic. And just how a lot of it is even just built on our system, right? Because we're all competing with our neighbors. We're competing for jobs. We're competing for this. And if you don't have it, there isn't a safety net.
Mm-mm.
So people really do just think about themselves and don't have as much empathy. And it's like, well, of course, I mean, that makes sense. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy, right? It's like there's food and shelter and all of these things that if they're not being met, how can you think about global warming or justice for people? Like that's really difficult. That's why we put people on such pedestals that choose that lifestyle where those needs aren't necessarily being met and still fight for the bigger picture, because that's really hard to do.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you just say you think society puts those people on a pedestal?
For a lot of them, like think about Mother Teresa.
Yeah. You know what? I hear you. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say so few people honestly think about Mother Teresa. Like the media definitely highlighted her good works, and don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
I'm not discounting the people that do these great things, right? But it's one of the interesting things that I hear the most about Oprah Winfrey, and I will tell you, it took me a long time to get here, but I like Oprah Winfrey. It took me a long time, long time. Didn't watch her talk shows. Fucking hate, talk shows, which is funny because what the fuck are we doing here, right? But so I wasn't into her talk shows. I wasn't into her personally, but now if I just sit back and I think about it, she just wants good things to happen in the world, and I can so appreciate that. But the thing that people talk about the most is her
For
giving
money.
a car.
Mhm.
Everybody gets a car, but you know what? She does so many great other
Yeah.
under the radar things, but that's what people focus on, and that's I want her to have all the money she has. I think she does great things with her money, and it's her money. And I love that it's a Black woman, so that when someone says Trump should be president because he's worth, he's made a lot of money, I can retort with Oprah's made more. Can she be president as well? Then
And she legitimately made it on her own.
on her own. So if that's your argument, as a matter of fact, the Uber driver, that was his argument with me. Well, Trump should be president because he's made a lot of money in business. Oprah's made more than him in business. She should be president. If that's your measure, then she wins. But I think the problem is, the reason why empathy is at an all-time low is people don't pay attention to the other not as glamorous things that people do.
No, I think that's right. And I think social media definitely plays a part in that. Like it was a podcast this morning I was listening to, and I literally couldn't listen to it because it was just irritating me for whatever reason. And it was about asking kids what they want to be when they grow up, and how it used to be firefighter, police officer, president, whatever. Like there was a lawyer, a doctor. And now the number one thing people or kids, the way they answer is being an influencer.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, they don't know what that means. I guarantee you, right? What does that mean?
No, they don't know. I mean, basically, the way this woman described it is an influencer is someone who has a following, who may or may not get paid, who it's basically anyone who has a large following.
Yeah.
That's it. It's someone who has a large following. And she said, you could take it a step further and say that they have a specific subject that they tend to hone in on or focus. And they started talking about this woman who was doing something, I think it was called like Budget Bites or something like that. And in 2008 is when they really saw it take up, because you had all these people graduating from college, job market sucked. We just had iPhones, people could record and start, and you had social media. Like that was the perfect storm to allow influencers to pop up. And I mean, this woman's done amazingly well. She basically would do a meal, like, because she was on a budget, and would show people how to do these budget meals. And like, it's her full-time job now. She doesn't, but I'm like, oh my God, all people want is to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it would be awful. I would not want to be famous.
I think that if you talk to a lot of famous people, they will tell you it can be overwhelming, right?
Yeah, of course.
I've seen a lot of famous people. Like, you know what I was just thinking of the other day, because Jamie Foxx is in the hospital, and he talked Cameron Diaz into coming out of retirement to do this movie. And I remember thinking, Cameron Diaz, yeah, shit, I haven't heard from her in a long time. Like I lost track. I mean, in all fairness, I have nothing against Cameron Diaz. She's lovely, but I'm not a follower of Cameron Diaz, right? Like, I don't want anything to happen to her, but it's not like I'm keeping track of her moment by moment, right?
Right.
So I remember thinking, I wonder if she just got tired of.
I think she did. I thought she had a baby or adopted, either she adopted or had a baby and was just like, that's what she wanted to focus on. But I don't know. I'm the same. I kind of don't follow her, but I thought I
Right.
saw an interview with her somewhere about that.
But I think that's a lot of it is. And I mean, even on these, like, for a while on YouTube, and this was, I'm going to say it was 5 or 6 years ago. So it wasn't recently. So it was 5 or 6 years ago. I was I'm trying to up my makeup game, which today we're not even going to talk about it. I actually got something on, but barely. And I was trying to up my makeup game. So I went to YouTube and I started following 2 people that did makeup on YouTube. And both of these 2 people are huge in the YouTube world. At the time, they were big, right? That was 5 or 6 years ago. Now they're huge, beyond comprehension huge. And so, and I don't watch either of them either anymore, not because I don't like them, but I'm like, well, I've gotten all I can from them, and I'd rather waste my time watching cat videos. Gotta come clean. So, sure enough, I've watched them go from recording their YouTube videos in their bedroom closets to recording their YouTube videos in their in-home palatial mansions that they were able to purchase via their YouTube money. And then you watch their lives fall apart.
No.
Bad shit happens. I mean, and this is, I mean, like what you have to do, like the get ready with me videos. I'm just like, seriously, if I'd rather waste my time watching people pop pimples than the get ready with me, videos. But I mean, it's just things like, I can't imagine, how do you keep that up?
Yeah. That's a great question. I do not know.
And these kids are going to find that out. Well, and only 1 or 2 of them are going to find it out, because the rest of them, it's like wanting to be a professional football player, right? Such a small minority of high school and college football players,
like less than 1% or
go
something.
on to be right.
Yeah.
Go on to make millions in professional football.